and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in to the Thank You for Playing podcast. With that being said, thank you for playing video games so me and my co-pals have something to talk about. And also, thank you for playing this podcast. With that being said, I'd like to introduce myself. I go by the name Toro, and here we are. We've been planning this for quite some time. I would like my friends to introduce themselves as well. Lambo.
Yo, what's up, everybody? I go by Lambo. I'm just hanging out here with Toro and your boy over there. Hoping everybody's having a good day. We're going to have a good time. It's kind of family friendly, but it's not really. So just sit back, buckle up, and enjoy the ride.
I am BLJ34, here to talk some fighting games, gaming in general, and just hope, you keep it clean, but most likely not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, good luck with that. All right. All bullshit aside, I'm going to throw the voice to the side. We all excited to be here. We basically putting our feet into the water. As you can see, we're very unorganized, I should say. We're not scripted, and we're very charismatic. So if you're still with us by now, I'm hoping that you're thinking like, man, these guys are waking me up. Because if you're looking for a calm, nice, monotone podcast, then turn around and walk the other way.
This isn't the one for you.
That's right. I agree. You're not going to find it here. With that being said, we're going to dive into a relatable topic. We're going to share our favorite genres of games and what particular games kind of locked us in as gamers, what made us continue the magic journey into gamerhood. Is that even a word? Whatever. You know what I mean.
Sounds like a word.
Gamerhood. But yeah, with that being said, I'll start. So I relate to both of these guys. They'll tell you as well. We love fighting games. I consider myself semi-pro. I don't study frame by frame, and I'm not on Twitter feeds yelling buff or nerf. I kind of take it as it is, and I play with my favorite characters, and I kind of wing it, Now, I do like to study what's plus and what's negative and strategies how to win with my character, but all in all, I'm all about the good time. With that being said, some of my favorite brawlers, I have a love-hate relationship with Street Fighter. So if you got your tomatoes ready, put them down. More on that on another episode. My favorite character out of Street Fighter, call me poster boy, like my guy Lambo says. Ken. Ken is like the sidekick, but I love Ken. I relate to Ken. Ryu, of course. How can you not like Ryu? He's a very selfless combatant, and he just wants to get better at what he does.
Poster
a lot
boy.
of people, poster boy. A lot of people had that mind frame. I think the world will be a better place. So go Ryu. Ryu for president. What is it, 2024, the re-election?
Yeah,
Something
that's
like
the next
that.
one.
All right, cool. Ryu Hoshi for president 2024. What does he say? The answer lies in the heart of battle. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? All right, moving on. My second genre of games that I love is RPGs. I can relate to my guy Lambo. We are some Final Fantasy nerds. We will chop it up about Final Fantasy VIII for 3 hours straight. So if any of you enjoy Final Fantasy related discussion and content, buckle up in the future. We're going to unpack that. Final Fantasy VIII, I don't really have a favorite character. I love all the main cast, but if I had to 0.51, all the rest of 9.5 and 110, I would have to go with Poster Boy. Big surprise there. Squall.
Mm-hmm.
And more on that later. And I'm going to pass the mic and let my fellow podcasters tell you what their thoughts are, their favorite genres.
How about you, BLJ? What's your favorite genres?
Fighting games would be my number one. fighting games, and then I'm a big fan of the adventure type games. Like God of War, Uncharted, pretty much like a story-driven, combat-heavy games.
Man, we're gonna have a very narrow list of games and genres.
Oh yeah, I hear you. So before we switch it, BLJ, if you don't mind, I'm curious myself. What drew you into God of War? Why is God of War one of your favorite games from that genre?
God of War became a huge thing for me when I played the first game, and just the main character Kratos, like how aggressive and angry he seemed. He was always yelling, ripping people apart. I was like, man, I love this. Blood everywhere. I was like, man, this is what your boy need. That aggression. You get it out. So as time has progressed, every game that I play, he just gets rougher and tougher. If he's not ripping off somebody's legs and using them as his own weapon or a part of his arsenal, or beating up Hercules, like he's just a dope character. So that's what really drew me to him. And then I really like the gameplay of the game. I've always been a combo heavy type guy in either a fighting game or a hack and slash game. Like I'm always trying to get a high combo count, and that was one game where you can definitely do that. So the gameplay always been there for me, and then the character, the main character, always been there for me. So that really drew me there.
Okay, so you like the game. Correct me if I'm wrong. You like the game because our protagonist, or anti-hero, he's an angry guy and he gets stuff done. And with each game, he becomes angrier, just angry in general. Kind of like how I feel when I got to get up and go to work at 5:30 in the morning. So I can relate. Cool. Right on. Elaborating. You mentioned first that you like fighting games, kind of like myself, fighting game connoisseurs. What is your favorite fighting game, and what character do you feel like you relate to? Like, what character made you tell yourself, I want to play fighting games?
I would say, well, I originally got in. I know you didn't ask how we got into fighting games, but what originally got me into fighting games was actually Double Dragon 2 on the NES. Not the SNES, but like the NES,
That's the beat 'em up?
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's initially what got me into fighting games, like just walking around the street beating up folks. And that was my, I guess, introduction into like combat gaming. You know what I mean?
The legendary Jimmy and Billy Lee. Yeah. All right, continue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, so as for my favorite fighting game, I would have to say, I guess when I started trying to take Street Fighter 4 serious.
Okay.
Way back in the day.
Okay.
So
your Street Fighter 4 is your favorite. Like, out of all Street Fighters, Street Fighter as a series or Street Fighter 4? Is that your tried and true holy grail?
I would say overall, I've always been a Capcom fighters guy. So most Capcom fighting games are my favorite. I feel like they always had like a different flavor on their games versus other fighting games.
Okay.
But I will say, out of all the games that I've played on the Capcom side, mostly Street Fighter games are my favorite games. When it comes to my favorite character, though, I got a lot of them. I want to say, when I was little, playing Street Fighter 2, just everything about the game got me hyped. Whether it was me not knowing how to do the Shoryuken and I finally get it out, and I hear Ken like, Shoryuken! Your boy used to be hyped over here in the living room,
Relatable.
Mm-hmm.
God throwing a sonic boom, like all that. I used to be in there throwing the throw pillows like I was Gal, you know what I mean, in the living room when I was like, what, 5, 6? So Street Fighter always been pretty hype for me. So I don't know if I have a favorite character, but I will say when 4 came out, I really fell in love with Viper.
Crimson
He was
Viper.
pretty dope. Yeah.
So I know it's tough to pick a favorite character, but kind of like I reflected earlier, if you could only have one 10 and the rest were 9.5 out of every Street Fighter character you've ever ran across, who would be your 10?
My 10, like my most liked character?
Yeah, your most liked character. If everybody else had to be 9.5 or lower, and you could only have one 10.
Man. You know what, man? It's probably Ken.
Good choice.
Man, I'm gonna tell you right now, one more thing, I'm gonna pass it on to Lambo. So I forget what Street Fighter, because they had a lot of Street Fighter 2 variants. But
Yes.
I forget what Street Fighter 2 it was when they added. So, because the Shoryuken, right? It's really a jumping uppercut.
Yes.
So
Invincible
life,
Dragon Fist, or something like that.
So if you were to do that move in real life, you would hit somebody one time. You know what I'm saying? But in Street Fighter 2, when they added like the 3 hits, like
the Flame 2.
And the Flame 2, boy, that had me sold. I was like, I'm a Ken fan forever.
It's all about the flash.
Yeah, man, the flashy, like, arrogant one. Yeah,
because Ryu do a Shoryuken and it hit you once and take off a lot of life. When Ken did it, he do his one punch, but it hit you 3 times with the flames. Man, he goated forever.
Yeah, I agree. So basically, what you're saying is Ryu's Shoryuken is Shoryuken womp womp, and then Ken come out. Shoryuken is this is dope. This is fire. And the answer for you, a little trivia for you. I believe Super Street Fighter 2 is when they finally differentiated Ryu and Ken. They added new voice tracks so Ken would sound different from Ryu, and they gave Ken the element of fire and his dragon punch, his fierce dragon punch, and they gave our poster boy Ryu the red stun fireball. So Ryu was packing heat too. His was just a little less flashy and a little more efficient because it added more stun to the stun meter. So we'll save all that for another podcast, but I hope y'all are still with us and y'all see we know our bits of Street Fighter info history.
Well, y'all
Lambo.
Your turn.
On you,
See,
Lambo.
I've got a history with Street Fighter 2, but not like that. Mine's a very casual history with it. But I mean, y'all made it pretty easy for me. My favorite genre is pretty much the same as y'all: action, adventure, RPG, and fighting games. Like, it's pretty straightforward. And I know, action adventure is kind of the stereotypical answer because most games are action adventure games. But specifically, I played God of War back in the day. Devil May Cry is probably my top tier action adventure game, especially Devil May Cry 5. That's probably the pinnacle of what I've played so far. Uncharted is right below that.
Okay, so let me ask you this. You mind explaining to our listeners, give me a brief description of Devil May Cry. Like, what is Devil May Cry and why is it your pinnacle? Like, who's in it? Like, what's the focus of Devil May Cry?
So Devil May Cry is kind of loosely based on The Inferno by Dante Alighieri, which is, I think it's 1,000 years old at this point. It's like a weird, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a poetic style of writing that was really hard to read, but it was about a guy named Dante traveling through hell with a guide named Virgil. Well, in Devil May Cry, the main characters are Dante and Virgil. And so it's kind of loosely based on that. It has to deal with demons and going to hell and making your way back. But what got me was the character dynamics and the combo system. It's
I was just about to ask that. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
Dante and Virgil, what is their relation? Are they friends?
Dante and Virgil are brothers.
Okay.
In the first game, Virgil's in the game, but he's never referred to by name as Virgil.
Oh, okay.
He's referred to as Nello Angelo in the first game because he, by this point in the timeline, has fallen into hell and his mind basically has been taken over by the King of Hell, and he's been turned into a servant.
Oh, okay.
Through reading item descriptions in the game, you can piece together as well. Well, not just item descriptions. There's also some cutscenes where he reacts to certain things that kind of make it seem like there's more there. And then once you finally get the item descriptions and read them, it kind of cements that, oh yeah, that's most likely the case.
So
Like,
let me
it's
make sure
not
I'm
super
still with you.
ambiguous about it. Yeah.
Got you. So Virgil has been basically fooled to enact the greater will of higher force for their benefit.
Not even fooled necessarily. The feeling
Willingly?
that I got from it is that he was utterly defeated and his mind taken over. Like, he's not really himself anymore.
So is he acting? But he's acting on the greater will's behalf, like to further their goals.
He is doing the King of Hell's bidding.
Sounds like a pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
Moving on.
And so, Dante wears an amulet that was given to him by his mom. And in one scene, the amulet kind of falls out of his jacket, and Nello Angelo Virgil sees it, and it kind of unlocks a little bit. Like, he reacts to it, and then he starts like freaking out and grabbing his head, and then he disappears. He teleports away. And that's kind of the first hint you get that there's something there. And later on, you find Virgil's amulet, which was the other half given to him by his mom.
Okay,
and
that's pretty
when
cool.
You find that amulet, I forget exactly what the item description says, but it basically cements that, yeah, that's Virgil, Dante's brother. But they
That's
never
cool,
actually address it in game outside of the item description.
That's a cool Easter egg. So is that particular moment what drew you in as a Devil May Cry fan, the first one? Or did it? Okay.
It wasn't the moment, but it was definitely part of it. I played Devil May Cry 1 probably 20, 25 times over within about a 3 or 4 year span.
Okay.
To me, it was the game as a whole was just like, it was set in Gothic setting, which, super edgy Lambo loved. Had to deal with demons, edgy Lambo.
Yeah.
Guy with a big sword, edgy Lambo. So, like, it kind of spoke to me as a whole in that time of my life. And, this was PS2. I was still a teenager, didn't have a job. So I got whatever games parents could afford.
I know that's right. Only Musha Warlords salute. And PS2 era. These graphics are amazing.
And I remember Onimusha Warlords too. That game was fun as hell too.
Oh yeah, but I'm gonna unpack that luggage another time because
that's a story for another day.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
But no, like Devil May Cry 1, it was pretty much the whole package, And for me, the combo system is what really kept me going too. It's a very intricate combo system. You're not tied down to just, you can press square 3 times or you can press it 4 times. It also changes based on the timing with which you press the number of buttons. So if you do triangle, triangle, pause, triangle, 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 it does a different combo versus just pressing triangle 5 times in a row.
Oh, okay. That sounds cool.
And then you have the gunplay added in there as well. So,
Oh, yeah. That sounds great. So appreciate you because how you say you was relating earlier about Street Fighter. Your Street Fighter knowledge wasn't all that. I was kind of aloof about Devil May Cry. So I appreciate you, enlightening me a bit. But your second genre of choice, fighting games, kind sir. If you would elaborate on your favorite and your favorite character and what defining moment drew you in and say, you know what? I love fighting games. I don't know if you love fighting games for the single player content, the thrill of competition. Maybe you just like looking at the end credits. I don't know, but I'd like to hear your input on what solidified you as a fighting game fan.
So
what solidified your support?
2 questions, and I got 2 answers for you.
Right on.
You asked me what my favorite was. My favorite is generally a toss-up between Killer Instinct and Soul Calibur.
Killer Instinct. And
Yes.
does your soul
Yep.
burn? Okay, two amazing
But I
games.
think on most days my soul burns a bit brighter, and so Soul Calibur is probably my favorite fighting game series. Um, but what got me into fighting games, I started out and dabbled a bit with Street Fighter 2 back in the arcades. You know, it wasn't even an arcade really. It was was it Pizza Hut or maybe it was some barbecue place we had that had a couple arcade cabinets and they had Street Fighter 2, and so I'd play it up there. But you know, I wasn't like, oh, I need this game at home or anything like that. But Killer Instinct, I got a Super Nintendo for Christmas, and it came with Killer Instinct, and I probably put 500-600 hours into that game as a child.
And which Killer Instinct was that?
This was the first one on Super Nintendo with the black cartridge.
Yeah, okay.
And man, I just played like I'd play my brother every now and then whenever he actually would play, but he's not really into fighting games. But for the most part, I just fought the computer. Like I just ran up and down the arcade ladder over and over and over again. And, you know, would try to beat it on the hardest difficulty with every character, try to get their arcade endings, try to get their true arcade endings, and just had fun playing it, trying to get a higher and higher combo. And like that was what got me really into fighting games. It wasn't until probably Soul Calibur 2, maybe 3, that I started playing actually competitively.
Okay.
But I was very casual about it. Like I wasn't looking up. I didn't know what frame data was.
Who was
If
your
you just
main
showed
character
me that.
back then?
In Killer Instinct, my main was Saberwolf, but I also played a lot of Glacius and TJ Combo.
I'm a
Nice.
Jago lover. I know, poster
Poster
boy, I'm
boy.
gonna be quiet, but
Yeah.
Jago is cool.
I mean, we all knew what it was already. You didn't even have to throw it in there.
When you pick Jago, the announcers all Jago. Like, why would you want to pick anybody else? Jago forever. Get some
Because
stickers
we're not
made.
scrubs.
Okay, well, maybe I'm gonna screw up and Kill Instinct. Cool.
We don't need that poster boy power to back us up.
Oh man, I do. That's fine by me. So transitioning to Soul Calibur. What do you love about Soul Calibur? Why does your soul burn on most days? And what character represents you as a whole? And why do you enjoy wreaking havoc with that character? I'm gonna assume.
See, you're kind of leading in.
I'm just asking.
You already know the answer. You're just kind of setting it up. But no, so it was actually at Pizza Hut. I remember this one specifically was Pizza Hut. You know, I used to play baseball when I was a kid, and after games and practice, coach would take us out to Pizza Hut every now and then, and you know, give us each like 50 cents or $1 to play on the arcades. And so I got to a point where Soul Calibur was there, and I was like, man, this game's fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and I got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I've only got 50 cents or $1. I'm going to get as far as I can on 50 cents or $1. And I got to the point where I could just beat the entire cabinet on 50 cents. And for me, you know, dumb kid, I realize now that's not really that impressive. But as a kid, I was like, oh man, I'm really good at this game. Blah, blah, blah. I love this game. And it was Lizard Man. You know, back in the day, Lizard Man was his own character, had his own move set, and I just had a great time with him. And the Soul Calibur 2 comes out, no Lizard Man. So I had to switch it up.
Lizard's not allowed.
Yeah. So I switched it up. I played a bunch of different characters. I remember I played Necron for a while. I don't even remember is that his name, but yeah, I played that character.
Necron. For our listeners that aren't informed, wasn't Necron a guest character?
Yeah, he was a guest character created by Todd McFarlane.
Okay.
Todd McFarlane, creator of Spawn, Venom. He made Necron specifically to be a guest character on Soul Calibur 2.
That's cool.
So he's not, as far as I'm aware, he's not anywhere else in any other kind of media.
All righty.
But I played him for a little bit, played Killick for a while. Song Mina I played for a long while. And I'm not really sure when I settled on Astaroth, but eventually made it around to Astaroth, and I've pretty much been maining him ever since.
So, as painstakingly as I want to ask this, do you mind elaborating who Astaroth is and what is his life's journey? What is he? What is Astaroth? What is he there to do? Just, enlighten us.
So Astaroth is a golem created by a cult known as Kunpetku. It's a cult dedicated to the worship of a god, Kunpetku. I think. I don't
Edgy
know, I'm probably
Lambo again.
mispronouncing that. Do what?
I said edgy Lambo again.
Oh,
but
yeah.
continue.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a theme running through all this.
Oh, I see.
But basically, they wanted him to go out and collect a powerful weapon known as Soul Edge to bring back to them so that they could use it to dominate humanity. And he ends up trying to remember if it's when he obtains Soul Edge to bring it back, he gains sentience and just decides, no, I'm not doing that, or if he gets close to Soul Edge and that's what awakens him. But he ends up deciding, no, I'm not going to do that, and he wants to claim Soul Edge for himself.
Okay.
Mhm.
What an edgy, dark story.
I told you. There's a through line here.
It's all connecting. So, what do you love about the character? Is it his mission story? Is it his gameplay?
Honestly, I didn't learn about his story until after I started really playing him. For me, and I guess it's kind of been the start of it for me. I like that he hit hard. That there were a lot of things where he could just kind of abuse people and throw them around the ring wherever he wanted, and you could do things that you thought were going to be a good idea, and I could turn it around on you. I remember a lot of Maxis back on Soul Calibur 4. Like, oh, I'm going to pick Maxi, and I'm going to be able to walk right over this guy. No, had to show him the ropes, and like that's kind of what really cemented it for me was just you're faster than me, but if you make a mistake, it's gonna hurt.
I'll capitalize off your mistake and I'll body you. Jeez Louise.
And then I got to the point where I could start trying to predict people's mistakes or predict what they were going to do and throw out something before that's going to hurt even more.
So, due to the dedicated gameplay, the dedicated practice of Astaroth, basically your Soul Calibur third eye opened and you could see into the future and predict moves before they happen. That's
I don't know
quite
if
impressive.
I go that far.
Okay.
But, I do make a lot of guesses when I play them. And, sometimes they work out and I do, 50% or more. And sometimes they don't.
50% or more. Oh.
And sometimes they don't work out and I lose, 40, 50% myself.
All right, cool. But that's the thrill of competition. So nothing wrong with that.
Soul Calibur 4 was where I first really started playing competitive Soul Calibur online.
All right.
And that was kind of my first foray.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, Toro, but that's where you and I first met, was at a Soul Calibur tournament.
I remember it well.
Yeah, we got matched up first round, and you made me look like I didn't even know how to play the game.
Oh, man, the unfortunate
stop
outcome.
Lying. He wasn't nice like that.
Oh, hey, now, you better chill out. Hey, now. You better relax.
Hey.
Lambo speaks truth. More on that later. My two co-podcasters, that sounds weird to say. My two comrades, they elaborated quite well. I kind of kept my story short. I have been playing fighting games since long as I can remember. Sonic is not quite a fighting game, but I started off with Sonic the Hedgehog, the Sega ages. Shortly after, I was given Mortal Kombat 1. Fancy that, right? Imagine a 6 or 7-year-old playing Mortal Kombat. I quickly learned the blood code. I was raised in a household to where my mom and dad would be like, "You're not stupid enough to try this on anybody, or we'll body you." So I knew better. I'm not taking a shot at people, but I knew the difference between fantasy and reality, and I would get good at Mortal Kombat at a young age. 6, 7, 8, 9. I had a younger brother. I still do. I have a younger brother. He's 4 years younger than me, and here I am, 6, 7, 8, 9. In that time frame. And we started competing against each other when he was about maybe 4 or 5. And I was older and I would beat him and he didn't like it. He would cry, try to make it look like I did something wrong. And my parents were like, if you can't beat him, you need to stop playing. I don't want to listen to your whining. If it upsets you, stop playing. My brother didn't want to stop playing, so he underwent some secret training regimen, and now he beats me majority of the time. It's close, but he beats me majority of the time, and I'm working on overcoming that trial. It's very sad, and it gives me anxiety, but we're going to get there. But Super Street Fighter 2, as BLJ mentioned earlier, was an amazing game. Don't get me wrong. I started with Super Street Fighter. No, not Super Street Fighter. I started with not Super. I keep saying that. I started with Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. That was hard to say. On Genesis, they released Champion Edition. And Champion Edition, Ryu and Ken sounded the same. Same voice clips, same moves. Ken just had blonde hair, red gi. Ryu, red headband, white gi. When Super Street Fighter 2 came out for the Genesis, Ken differentiated. A lot of characters got their own KO cries. I'm real big into that. I love voiceover. And the game just felt brand new. They added some combos in there. They had super meter. Amazing makeover. Glow up. That's the word I'm looking for. Amazing glow up. And that's how I fell in love with fighting games. And I will elaborate on another time. Our hourglass is running low. We are getting towards that time. But if you are still listening with us, this is a very special moment. This is our first official podcast.
First one, baby.
Yeah, that's right. We've been very excited to pull this off. We have been talking about this for years. And you would think like years, well, what's the holdup? But life and planning and the planets have to align. Yep, being adults. So we may have some naysayers out there thinking that we're just copy pasting or whatever, but kick back, relax. We're going to prove your ass wrong, I'm just telling it like it is.
And I know we're running low on time, but I want to get at you guys real quick and see what everybody's playing. This is a question for the audience as well. Let us know down in the comments what you guys are playing too. But I'll start right now. I'm playing Elden Ring, Pokemon Legends Arceus, and Guilty Gear. BLJ, what are you playing at the moment?
I'm playing a lot of Sifu. Sifu as a
lot of Sifu.
Yep, the karate game, like the beat 'em up.
Yeah.
Kung Fu. Yeah, I've been playing a lot of that.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that they added like a new difficulty mode to it because it was pretty easy at the beginning. So now it's been more fun. I'm just waiting for them to add like a survival mode or something like that, and I'll be having a good old time with it. But that's what I'm playing right now. Sifu.
Hey,
all right.
What's up?
Currently, I am engulfed. I'm just submerged in King of Fighters 15. I got the game. I played King of Fighters 14. I wasn't very good at it. I was getting bodied by everybody I ran across. I kept playing it. I did not improve. It was something about 15 because it's the same game. They just added some new features, but it's largely plays the same. And I've taken practice mode and reading frames a bit more seriously, and I'm improving my gameplay, and I'm really enjoying the game, and I hope to climb a little higher in it. And speaking of which, BLJ, I'm going to put the spotlight back on you. You've been playing Sifu, but I remember you telling me not too long ago you have another hobby that you like to do, and I figured you share that with our listeners and see if they, can relate. Your special talent.
Well, I got a couple hobbies that I like to do. Actually, after this podcast, we're going to go do one of them, which is ballroom dancing. I've been doing that for 12 years now and do it every week. So that's one thing. But I also do a lot of artwork, do a lot of drawing. I like to draw a lot of pretty much like fighting game related type of artwork. So I do that quite a bit. I've been doing it for the last 4 years, since 2018. So I started with like color pencils and progressed into markers, and now I do mostly digital art. So that's what I've been doing a lot of my free time. And then when I'm not doing that, I'll just pop in seafood for a little bit. So
Lay
Okay.
the smackdown.
I know that's
Yep.
right. Shameless plug here, but what does your digital art consist of? Does it consist of landscapes, historical figures, like characters?
So when I first started, and I still am, but I was doing more like crossover artwork. So I drew like Hey Arnold, Insane Armor, Gerald as Piccolo. I got a
Sounds
collage
cool.
I did of Cartoon Network characters dressed as Mortal Kombat characters. So I just like doing stuff like that. Like I just like mix and matching different worlds, combining them. You know what I mean? So either
Mashups.
that or having a character from one universe fight another character from another universe. Like I just like that type of stuff. I just like the freedom in doing that. So yeah.
All right, listeners, you heard it here first. We will do our best to drop a link to BLJ's art. And if you'd like to view it, perhaps purchase it, support our boy. I'm all about supporting each other. If you see something that interests you, feel free to contact him, and I'm sure he will get back with you. If you're still with us, I want to give a big thank you for playing this podcast. That is the premise behind our name. Thank you for playing video games, and thank you for playing this podcast. Closing statement. I enjoyed this and look forward to hearing us a lot more. I'm going to pass the mic to Lambo and BLJ and let them give their closeout, and we're going to leave it at that.
You go, Lambo.
Me? Are you putting the spotlight on me, man? Nah, but for real, thank you for playing, everybody. I hope you had a see, there goes. Had a whole podcast where everything was perfect. I ruined it.
Yeah, it's all
But
good.
nah, thank you for playing. Hope you had a good time. Hope you had a laugh or two. We'll be back next time. And BLJ, take it away.
Thanks for playing, guys. Hope you guys keep tuning in. Because we plan on having different discussions about certain things that we're really passionate about or things that we dislike or really like. So should be a good time. But if anybody that's still listening by now, and you want to check out my artwork, I posted on my Instagram, which is _BLJ34_, and on my Twitter, which is @_BLJ34_. But thanks for playing, and until then, guess
We'll
see
catch
y'all
you
next
later.
time.
Peace.
All right, let's go play some Elden Ring, Toro.
No, thank you.